And now shifting focus to the war in the Middle East, Israel says that it is ready to handle any scenarios that may unfold against Iran. This comes after Tehran threatened to strike an Israeli embassy in retaliation for the Israeli airstrike on Iran's diplomatic compound in Syria just last week. Meanwhile, Israel has evacuated its diplomatic staff from at least 28 embassies following the Iranian threat. Israel continues to increase its readiness for war against Iran and all of its proxies. In fact, last night, the Israeli military killed an elite Hezbollah commander after carrying out airstrikes on the group's training camp in Lebanon. Now, Iran-backed Hezbollah, too, has threatened retaliatory strikes of a magnitude that it claims Israel has never seen before.
We haven't yet got out the main weapon. We haven't yet used the main forces. For your knowledge, we haven't yet reserved the forces. The issue of the Iranian consulate is a turning point in the events that occurred from October 7th till today. Be certain, be sure that the Iranian response to the targeting of the consulate in Damascus is definitely coming against Israel.
Israel says it will take on the threat from Iran and all of its proxies with support from the United States.
The IDF knows how to deal with Iran, offensively and defensively. We are prepared for this. We have good defensive systems and we know how to act forcefully against Iran in both near and distant places. We are operating in cooperation with the United States and strategic partners in the region.
Meanwhile, Tehran has urged the United States not to get involved. As Washington tries to cool tensions in the region, Iran has reportedly offered not to strike Israel if an immediate ceasefire is achieved in Gaza. This comes as Israel redirects its troops in Gaza towards the city of Rafah. Rafah is in the southernmost city in Gaza and currently houses over 1.5 million Palestinian refugees. And Israel believes that a final push into Rafah will lead to the ultimate collapse of Hamas.
The forces are exiting and preparing for their next missions. We saw examples of such missions in the Shifa operation and also of their upcoming missions in the Rafah area.
Now, Israel is currently attending truce talks in Cairo mediated by Qatar and the United States. However, domestic pressure is growing on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to secure the release of the remaining hostages. Thousands of protesters marched across Israel, urging the government to negotiate a peace deal to bring back 133 Israelis still being held captive by Hamas.
Right now, it's 184 days in captivity. It can be. The world should condemn it. The world should stand and to be with Israel against Hamas and to do anything that they can do to help us. And for our government, we demand them to do things as soon as possible and not to waste time.
Meanwhile, Hamas says that no deal has been achieved with Israel at the talks in Cairo, and the war in Gaza is far from over. And the international community is worried that the escalating tensions between Israel and Iran will lead to another conflict in a region already rife with conflict.